Firstly, sorry about the beard sprouting. Secondly, I'm back. Sorry for letting this channel lapse for so long. Other avenues of my life have really been taking precedence at the minute. But I thought I'd kick off my return by starting a new series. It's Portrait of the Week. And here's our portrait for this week. The Equestrian Portrait of King Philip V of Spain by Ranc. Apologies for the terrible French pronunciation. You see, I never learnt it at school. Anyway, now I find this painting particularly fascinating. Now, foremostly, what this painting depicts is a divine and powerful king, Philip V. And we know this is the case because he's riding on horseback and he takes centre stage. He looks important and he's certainly mastered his horse. But there's bits in the picture that you may well have not seen at first sight. I certainly didn't. Now take a close look at above Philip. You'll see this winged character flying through the scene. And this here is the depiction of victory. And it is guiding Philip to glory in war. Up in the left-hand corner, you've also got an astrological sign. And this is Philip's sign, Sagittarius. And if you look closely in the background, you'll see that there are a lot of war scenes going on. This is illustrating Philip's prowess and ability as a military commander. It wouldn't be a proper history short without a bit of context. So here goes. Philip was the grandson of King Louis XIV. He was the son of the Grand Dauphin, Louis XIV's eldest son. And in 1700, by the will of the last Habsburg ruler of Spain, King Charles II, he was made the King of Spain. I'm sure you guessed it, but the King Charles II did actually die. He didn't just decide to make Philip King of Spain whilst he was still alive. Would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? Anyhow, Philip was only 17 when he realised he'd become the King of Spain. Ushered into his grandfather's private study, he was told there and then that he had to pack up his things and he was going with an entourage down to Madrid. It was a country he'd never even been to before. And I can just imagine how daunted he would have been leaving from Versailles to go down to this place where he just didn't have any connection to. It would certainly frighten me, I can tell you that, and especially at the age of 17. I thought it was difficult enough starting my A-levels. And in fact, when Philip first became the King of Spain, he really did struggle with his depression. But there was one thing that helped him with this, and that was war. He was actually a very competent military commander and came to be regarded as such. He became known by his people in Spain as the Valiant King. And during the War of Spanish Succession, which incidentally was about him succeeding to the Spanish throne, he frequently commanded his troops in Spain from the front line, acting as a true warrior king. In 1702, at the Battle of Lizara, he even said, now excuse me for not putting a French accent on for this one, all are risking their lives for me. Reason enough that mine should not be counted of any greater importance than theirs. And this helps us make sense of the painting. Philip wants us to know that he's a prominent, valiant and warrior-like king who leads his people in just fashion and is ultimately led to victory. Who knows what we're going to look at next week? I certainly don't, and I probably won't know until next Monday. Have a nice week.